please.
Thank you for your remind. So I was responsible for the development of 2022 to 2023 Cloud Track development last year, which means for this year there's a little bit difference about our Cloud Track, and I will introduce about the differences to you guys to make it possible that you can be prepared better for the ICT competition. So my Chinese name is Kong Yuan, but you can just call me Emma. Let's start right away. First of all, I would like to tell you what we are going to do today. The first thing I'm going to do is to introduce to you the exam outline of this year's ICT competition. And next, I will take some time to introduce to you how the global final exam, which means for the last year's question paper, answered, especially about the cloud and the AI, also the big data. Okay. During my introduction, I would also tell you how you can get better prepared for the exams, like where you can get those learning materials, as well as the exam outlines. Okay, so here we go. We will start with the exam outline first. As you can see here, this is the overview of this year's exam outline. There would be 1, 2, 3, 4 stages of our competition, which is actually quite similar with our past competition stages. First of all, we're going to have a preliminary stage, which is only in a written format. And all that you need to do is just to take this examination and finish the written exam. It's going to be 60 questions, which consists of true or false, single answer, and multiple answer questions. So when it turns to the national stage, it is in a very similar format, which is also true or false, single answer, and multiple answer questions. The difference is actually only lies in the number of the questions and the total score. Of course, the difficulty of the national stage would increase. It's going to be more difficult than the mandatory part, which is the preliminary stage. Okay, and for your teams, we're going to also have some extra points. If you can also have some extra points to be added if you have the IA, IP, or IE certification. Of course, last year or the year before last year, you can also have some extra scores added to your team. However, this year, please listen carefully here. There's a very big difference that from this year, we're going to give more scores if you have an IE certification. Okay, so make sure that you read this important note here. If you want to have your score added to your team, make sure the Uniportal account that you have already got the IE certification needs to be the same with the Uniportal account that you registered with the competition. Otherwise, you cannot get the point. It's very simple, right? So IE or IP or IE, IA, IP or IE certification would be very helpful if you want to get to a further stage like the regional stage. So from the regional stage, we're going to have a lab exam instead of only written exam. It's going to be a 4 hours lab exam, and you need to cooperate with each other as a team, and the number of the participants needs to be 3. You're going to be a team to compete against each other, and in the global stage, you are also going to you're going to still participate in the global stage as the same team. Okay, so I'm not going to read the equation here, like how the score is calculated. The material will be forwarded to you on the website, like the video showed you before our live streaming. Okay, so this is the first stages of the competition. And if you want to get to a further stage, you need to make sure that you get fully prepared for every single direction. Here is the weighting of the competition. As you can see here, for every different stage, the weighting of each different direction is different. For example, For the national stage, the cloud direction only weighs up to 40, and the AI is going to be 40%. However, while we go further to the global stage, you would find that AI is going to have a higher weighting for the score. Okay, so you need to know about this weighting, and so that you can get better prepared. If you had participated in the last year's ICT competition, you might have noticed that from this year, we're no longer going to have a direction of the storage, right? This is the second biggest difference we're going to have this year. So for the last few years, we had 4 directions, including the storage. However, from this year, we would no longer the scores that was once belonged to the storage direction is going to be averaged into the other 3 directions. And here, the AI direction is going to have a higher score than the last few years, because most of the scores of the storage is going to go to the AI direction. So, guys, I would here advise you that you should get better prepared for the AI technologies. But very similar with the last few years, the cloud direction still comes up with the most of the scores. So by far, if you have any questions about these directions, you can always leave your questions in the chat box. I can see your messages. So am I clear about the direction difference of this year? If I am clear, maybe you can type 1 in the chat box. Okay. So if you are a master of the storage direction, maybe this year you need to switch to another direction like the AI direction. Okay. So except for the difference in the weighting or the direction, we need to go further. Yes, I see there's a participant put a question in the chat box. How to rewatch the live stream? Okay, thank you. Thank you for answering the question. The host has answered you, so you can refer to the guide of him. And next, I'm going to introduce to you in detail, like how in each stage, the technologies of each direction you need to know about. Okay, so here's the scope. Not going to read about these ones, but you need to read carefully about this part. The cloud track is going to be about cloud computing, as well as the cloud computing and cloud native. This is a very big difference from last year. Last year, we might more focus on the cloud computing like the ECS, EDS, or maybe some IaaS services. But from this year, cloud native service or technologies is going to be a very big part of the cloud direction. As for the big data part, we would ask the participants to know about, of course, the basis of the big data and the basic principles. Also, from this year, the big data mining is going to have a larger weighting. As for the AI technologies, you might need to go deeper to the computer vision and the natural language processing. Okay, so let's check it out. First of all, when you're trying to read this table, please notice here that for each different stage, what you need to know about different directions is different. For example, if you are only looking into the preliminary stage, then you only need to have an IA level knowledge of each direction, which means, for example, if you want to just get an award in a preliminary, then you don't need to know too much about cloud native. What you need to know is just some basic knowledges of the cloud, AI, and big data. However, if you want to go for a further stage or get a better award, then you need to have an IP or IE or even an IE or above knowledge level to get yourself better prepared. For example, let me illustrate to you here. For the cloud direction, the preliminary or the national stage only requires for the cloud computing or the public cloud service operations, which means these two direction is very similar with the cloud questions we had last year, like the basic computing, storage, and networking services, maybe some security services or some ONM or like the Cloud I or something. However, if you want to look into the regional stage or the global stage from this year, you need to get yourself better prepared for the cloud native, including, first of all, the concepts, because you know the regional stage involves with some written exams, so you might be asked with some native concepts. And second, you need to know the container technology. So please read carefully here. The container technology is going to be a part of the cloud direction this year. Last year or the last few years, we didn't have this technology being asked in the cloud direction, but from this year, you need to know about it. And the container technology, honest and say, is kind of difficult. It's a more difficult technology than the basic cloud services. What you need to know is not only how to use the CCE. What you need to know is also has also involved with the container concepts, as well as the usage of the container and the container engines, container images, container repositories, as well as the Kubernetes. So all of these things is going to be part of the national exam and the regional stage, as well as the global stage. And you might going to have some hands-on examinations, like asking you to build up an application based on the container engine CCE. So here is some advice, more tips for you. Maybe you can start to learn about, first of all, the basic concepts of the container, and second, learn how to build up or migrate an application, for example, an engine application from the traditional cloud service to CCE, a container platform. Okay, so container is part of the cloud native. Except for the container, there are some other important technologies that is required in the cloud native, including microservice concepts as well as the application building. So, for example, the CSE or the technology principles and the application of the function graph is also going to be part of our exam. Okay, so let me answer this here. From this year, for the cloud direction, the cloud native is going to be a very important technology if you want to have a higher score in the regional stage or the global stage. Okay. So this is about the cloud. And the second direction of cloud track is big data. I would say the big data would not involve with. However, the difficulty might increase if you want to go for a further stage. Okay, so let me check if there's any questions in the chat box. Okay. For example, for the big data, you need to know not only about big data storage and processing. This is a very fundamental thing. You also need to know how to do the data mining, including the data processing, feature engineering, as well as the supervised learning. And you need to know about the model evaluation and optimization. So last year, from the result of our global final exam, we found out that for big data and AI, most of the participants is very likely to lose the scores. If they know about the big data or AI, they might going to have a very high score. But if they know little about the big data or the AI, maybe they don't know too much or doesn't master the technologies too well, then they might going to have a very low score. So the big data and the AI is going to be two directions that makes a very difference from teams to team. Okay, and the last part is about the AI. For the AI, of course, you need to know it's just about AI basics, AI algorithm, about their theory and some hands-on practice. Also, you need to know about Huawei AI development platform. For example, model arts and like the XML, as well as some training management and application development. Okay, this is going to be very important. Two platforms like the Model R's. It's going to be a very important part of the global final, I would say. Okay, and for the AI, you also need to know how to use the MindSpore to do the development framework as well as the AI application development. So this year, since we have canceled the storage direction, AI is going to be more important, and you should put more time or more of your efforts into the AI direction, especially in these two parts. First of all, the MindSpore development framework as well as the AI application development. Okay, they're going to have more scores as well as more difficult. Okay. Okay, hello, Wallet. Shall I call you in this way? So I see your question here. For the preliminary stage, should I focus more on HCI cloud services or is that a cloud computing? Well, if you were looking for the first stage, I would say you need to focus on the cloud services if you want to get yourself better prepared for this part, because these are public cloud services. But if you want to have a higher score in the written part, I would strongly recommend that you should also know about cloud computing concepts, because as you can see here, you need to know about the private cloud concepts, mainstream vendors and the products and application scenarios. Okay, so these are about the cloud computing. But I would say, because cloud computing is more than the cloud services, it also involves with the private cloud like the HCS, the platform, and the more fundamental technology principles. So, please get prepared for both directions. Okay, including cloud services and the HCI cloud computing. And I don't think the cloud is the only thing that you should get prepared for, because for the first stage, preliminary stage, you're going to participate in it in an individual way, which means you need to know about cloud and big data and AI, all of the three directions. Okay, although these are very fundamental questions, like very basic questions, but three of them are involved. Okay, so this is just the scope, and since the time is very limited, I cannot introduce to you every single details here. What I can do here is just to tell you about some major differences that we're going to have this year. So let me repeat here, give you some summary here about the differences. So first of all, the bonus points of the IA, IP, and IE policy have changed. For the last few years, you might going to have some very similar bonus points between IA, IP, or IE. However, from this year, if you have an IE certification, you are absolutely going to have a higher bonus points. Ada Bagadorova, thank you for your question. I have seen your question. Let me answer you later. Okay, so just let me finish it here. So first of all, the difference is about the bonus points between IA, IP, and IE, which means we would strongly recommend that you should get an IE certification of cloud or big data or AI. Please notice here, the cloud certification could either be a cloud service or a cloud computing. Okay, so this is the first difference. And the second biggest difference between this year and the last few years is that we have canceled storage direction, and AI has been increased with its weighting. So you should get yourself better prepared in the AI direction. But the cloud is still a very important weighting in the among all of the directions. Okay, this is the second difference. So except for the cancel of the storage direction, I also want to give you some details here. Like from this year, the AI is going to involve with more difficulty in the AI development and AI application development, as well as the MindSpore development framework. When it turns to the cloud direction, the cloud native has been added to the cloud direction, because for the last few years we actually didn't have the cloud native. But from this year, you are going to have you are going to have those questions either in the written or in the final exams in a lab format. Okay, so these are the three major differences I want to emphasize to you here. So I have noticed that I have some questions in the chat box. So the first question, how to get prepared for practice tests of the regional final. Let me check it out. So, so ADA, actually we have the regional stage, which is the regional final, as well as the global final. If you're asking like how to get prepared, of course, the first thing is to get yourself registered for the competition. And second, we're going to provide you some materials later. I will tell you about some materials that you can get for yourself. And these materials is first of all about the questions or the exam papers for the last few years. Those are the real exam papers of the last few years, regional or either the global competition. Okay, this is the first material you can get. And second, we have provided some MOOC videos or courses online to get yourself prepared. And the last, I would strongly recommend that you can maybe get yourself registered with some training that is provided from Huawei. Yeah, if you are interested in those trainings, you can register to the trainings from the Huawei training manager, maybe. Okay, so there's another question from Wally Deroni. Sorry, I'm not sure if I'm reading it properly. So the question is 50 points considered to be a huge amount of the points? Huge amount of the points. If it is 15 points when it turns to the global stage, of course, it's going to be a difference. Because usually, last year, actually, we had some, or not only the last year, for the last few years, there's usually some situation when there's only a very slight difference between the teams to the teams. So maybe the winner, is only like 50 points difference from the second team. So it's never too much to get yourself prepared for every direction. And another question from Hembarako, where to do the lab for the regional stage? Well, sorry, I'm afraid this is not a question that I can answer for. Maybe you can turn to the local Huawei training manager to see if it is possible for them to provide you with some lab resources to practice. Okay, because what I can do here is just to introduce to you how the examination of the call check goes. But as for the lab resources to get yourself for some practice, I'm afraid I cannot answer you here. Sorry for that. Okay. Okay. So the next thing I want to introduce to you is actually also the answer to the question. So I have seen another question. The last question I'm going to answer here. Okay. Cloud services on Huawei Cloud, such as EVS, ECS, VPC, are costly. How can we practice with them for the competition? Well, I think this is actually the same question this is the same question as the last question, where to do the lab for the original stage. So if you want to get the lab practice resources, please you might need to turn to the local training manager of Huawei or something. So I also need to HCIP cloud service course given and learning space enough to be prepared for cloud direction of national stage. We will provide you some learning courses in the learning space, but I cannot promise you that once you finish the online course, you can get yourself fully prepared, because the knowledges of each direction, for example, the EVS or ECS, we might going to introduce to you this service on the learning service courses, but there's always some more extension knowledges you can get yourself prepared. And when you are actually using it, there's always something you need to know about this service. So I would recommend, first of all, of course, you need to learn more practice, and that's going to make you better prepared for these written exams, because practice makes perfect, right? Okay. So the next thing I'm going to introduce to you is the materials that you can get for getting prepared for CloudTrack. Okay. First of all, if this is the first time for you to participate in this exam, please get yourself registered on the Talent, of course. And the second, if you have registered with an Uniportal account of Huawei Talent, then you can do it the same like me. Just 1 second. After you get yourself registered with the Talent platform, I'm going to send you the link here. You can go for the menu of ICT Academy for practice competition. ICT Academy and second practice competition. Further, you can go down here, and we have the practice competition introduction materials for different regions. For example, I suppose you guys are from maybe Northern Africa or Southern Africa, right? Maybe Northern Africa. Just take it for example. And after you go into this menu here, you can find the competition registration portal as well as the learning space. And the introduction or the schedules are all listed here. You don't need to worry, like after today's introduction, I cannot find any materials. Don't worry, it's all on the Talent. And if you haven't been registered, you can register here. But today, I'm not going to waste time introducing to you how to get registered. We're going to just go for the learning space. And since I haven't been registered with this competition, I cannot click the learning space. However, if you have been registered, you can just click this one and it's going to bring you to this page here. Okay. And you can find the CloudTrack learning space when you scroll down and just click this one. Of course, if you're interested in network track or computing track, you can go for other pages. Since today it is about the CloudTrack learning space, we're going to just follow it here and click course contents. Let's have a brief introduction for you guys first. So what you can learn from the learning space is, first of all, the exam outline of the past few years. Let me count. 1, 2, 3, 4 past 4 competitions has been listed here. If you're interested in the exam outline, like what is the difference between years to years, you can go for it. And second, except for the exam outline, you can also find some regional final and global final questions of the CloudTrack learning map. Wow, that's cool. Thank you Hanbarato for providing the suggestion here. So except for the exam outline, you can also find some real global or regional final questions. I have just checked it out. It's exactly the same with the papers we hand out last year this year maybe in April or in May for our participants in China. It's exactly the same. And except for the real exam papers, let me open that for you. Except for the papers, the videos of the explanation of each question has been also uploaded. So actually, the storage part was recorded by me, which is the storage direction last year. So here, let me give you a summary here. There are 3 kinds of materials you can get in the learning space. First of all, the exam outline of this year and the last few years. Second, the the real exam papers of the last few years. And last, the illustration or explanation videos of the developer of each question of the global final papers has been uploaded. For example, last year, maybe I was responsible for the development of the storage questions. Then I had already recorded a video and uploaded here. So if you are interested in these illustrations of the cloud, AI, and big data questions of the last few years, you can watch it. It's going to be very useful for your preparations. Okay, so 3 kinds of materials you can get here. And last but not least, you can also get some online courses like HCIA Cloud Service and HCI Cloud Computing, or IP Cloud Computing and IE Cloud Computing. All of the online courses has been listed here. It's never too much for you to get better prepared, right? So make sure that you finish all of the online courses here, including the cloud check, cloud direction, big data direction, and AI direction. Okay, so any questions by far? Any questions by far?
Yes, if you have any questions about the practice competition or the ICT competition, you can type your question in the chat box.
Okay. If you can always. Okay, so Hembaraco, just let me answer your question here. I suppose what you are asking here is that you don't want to just watch those videos like how they solve the questions or something. What you want to do is just to read through those global final papers, right? Actually, the PDF paper has been also uploaded here. It's exactly the same with the questions in the videos. It's the same with the original final of the last year or the last few years. The difference is just we only have the explanation videos for the global final, and it's not going to be provided for the regional final because the global final is usually more difficult, and we are going to put more effort in the development of the global final. So am I clear about your question? Okay. So, I see. So if you want to get the PDF version of the materials of those courses, actually I can tell you how you can get the materials. It's also in the talent. For example, you see, if you want to get the material of IA Cloud Service, like the PDF or of the material or the PPT or the lab guidance, then you can go for the talent for career certification. And second, find the direction that you are interested with. Maybe it's in the cloud platform and cloud service. For IA cloud service, then you can get it in the learning resources here. Can you see it? It's exactly the same with the materials we're going to record here. When we record videos in this course, we are actually just using these materials. Okay? Yeah. Okay, so maybe I can also share you here. It's the same. It's the same with the other courses. If, for example, you want to get the material, the PDF material of IA Cloud Computing or IA Cloud IP or IE, it's exactly the same. Also for the AI or something. Yeah, it's all listed here. Those courses are going to be very useful for your preparation. So I'm going to. For more details. So, of course, there would be more details on the video, but no more materials when we are recording those videos. The only difference is like we're going to explain about the points, first of all, of course. So illustrations of our videos. And second, sometimes the teachers or the instructors is going to draw some blackboard notes. They're going to draw some notes of themselves. That's going to be the second difference. Okay. And the third, they might going to, sometimes, it's just sometimes, they might going to record some hands-on practice of the cloud service or the AI or the big data. So those are the three major differences, but the materials are exactly the same. Am I clear? And another question from Dodisumaho. IP cloud service training material from Korea certification from that in the learning space. Could you please tell me in which part it is different? In the learning space, do you mean that who enters to the cloud service? IP cloud service. So, first of all, there are different versions of the certification material. You need to double check if or not the version you have downloaded for the material is the same as the one on the videos. Okay. For example, let me take an example for the IE cloud computing. For the IE cloud computing, this year we have just updated a new version of V3.0 training, but actually we once have a 2.1 version. So just carefully check that if or not you are downloading with the right version of the material. Okay, so maybe that is the difference. That is why there's a difference. And okay, more mobile data to watch all videos. Sorry for that. Sorry to hear that. It was possible to change video resolution or download all videos at once, but now with the new platform, it is not possible. Oh, sorry to hear that. So, I suppose this is, I'm afraid I need to like forward this question or this issue to my colleague and see if or not there's a better solution for you to like save the mobile data for you, because I understand that the mobile data is going to be a big waste if you need to download all of the videos. I'm also not going to use my mobile data to download all of the videos. Okay, so I'm going to record your question to see if or not there's a better solution for that. Okay, 1 second, I'm going to record it. Okay, so if you want to download the videos, actually I have never tried to download the videos. I'm going to record the question before, not now. I suppose it is not possible to download the videos because the videos are actually the property of Huawei, so I don't think it's going to be possible. Yeah, from my understanding. Okay. Yeah, this is a property of Huawei. I don't think it's going to be possible for you to download. You can always watch it online. So next, just let me use the. So next, let me just use several minutes to like explain to you the global final paper of last year. So last year we had 4 directions, including cloud, which is 450 points, and the second there's another direction of storage, which is 200, and big data for 200, another 200. So last of all, the AI is the direction which comes up with the least points. But from this year, AI is going to have a very large weighting, which is almost the same with the cloud direction, and we're going to cancel the storage. But the big data is going to just be very similar with the last year. So for last year, let's check out with the cloud direction first. I'm not going to read through this part, but you can see last year the big data is still 20% and cloud is 45. But from this year, AI is going to be 40 or 45 or something. So it's going to increase a lot. Last year, the cloud direction only involves with some networking, computing or storage or security, and some monitoring cloud services, like the when it turns to the cloud computing services, like the ECS, and we had also used some other storage services like the EVS. When it turns to the networking services, the ELB, EIP, and some VPC peering or VPC endpoint has been part of the questions. However, all of these questions, all of these cloud services, even if the CSPS or DDM or Redis, these are actually not too difficult, I would say, for the cloud service. These are like in an IP level of the cloud computing. However, this year, based on these fundamental cloud services, you are going to need to get yourself prepared for the cloud native. For example, for CCE, CES services. Okay, so you might need to develop, or you might need to put the application of your database or the Nginx applications onto a CCE cluster. Okay. I'm not going to, since the time is very limited, I'm not going to read through all of the questions. I will just tell you like what was included for the last year. As for the storage part, as you can see here, all the direction is very it's very long questions, because it's the parts that comes up with the most of the scores. And today we're not going to look into the storage part, because this direction has been pitifully cancelled. Okay, next, when it comes to the big data, still, I would say this year, you might going to have a very similar difficulty with the last year. The last year, you need to use the HDFS, Hive, and the MyCircle to do some. Okay, thank you. So you need to use the ADS, DW, and the ODS to finish the question. Sorry, the time is very limited. I only have 5 minutes left, so let's look into the AI. Yeah, for the AI, last year, what you need is only model arts. However, the AI is actually continue after the big data. So you need to be careful here that actually AI and big data might going to be involved with each other. You need to finish some part of the big data and further finish the part of AI, but don't worry, it's not going to be a big deal. Okay, so for last year, you can see we have used the model art technology, and the previous part is not too difficult. It's not too difficult. What is difficult is about that you need to first of all do the feature engineering. This is a very difficult part. And the second, when you finish it, you need to handle and do the exception handling and feature analysis. Okay. The teams lost the scores the most last year. So from this year, AI is going to be even more difficult. Like what I show you here, you need to also know about AI application development. For example, the voice processing and the natural language processing. So please put more effort in the preparation of the AI, also in the cloud native basic service or the cloud native application building, like the CCE or something. This year's examination is absolutely going to be more challenging than last year. If you want to go into a further stage of the regional exam or the global final stage. Okay. And the materials you can get yourself for yourself has been introduced for the last 1 hour. So if you have more questions, you can put it in the chat box. I'm going to choose one question to answer it. Okay. don't worry, the recording, I suppose, is going to be uploaded somewhere. But sorry, I'm not sure where it will be uploaded. Yeah, I think well, I suppose it would be uploaded in the learning space. Is that so? One second, let me check it. 刘老师，这个录屏会传到哪里啊？
你可以打开那个计算赛道的，已经上传了，给他们看一眼，知道怎么用？
稍等。是在
你在这个搜索栏那里搜一下就好 ，practice competition。
他们想知道是今天这个录屏。
This video will be uploading to Learning Space in this week.
Okay, the video of today is going to be uploaded in the Learning Space, in a way like what Mr. Liu has introduced to you. Okay, so guys, I suppose that will be all for today, and thank you for your participation of today's introduction. And hopefully I can see you guys all in the global final competition. Good luck to all of you guys.
Yes, thank you so much, Emma, for bringing us all the details of the competition. And I guess tonight, yes, the students that being here tonight are very lucky to have this opportunity to know more about the competition and all the details. They may know how to have a better prepare for the competition. So thank you, Emma.
Thank you for your support as well.
Yeah, and thank you for all students being here with us. So the first phase of the enablement live